I just want to confirm that our sound is in there. Then afterwards, we will start off things here. All right, so I think the confirmation is made. You can hear me now. So, good evening. You're on to Mamu with Jarvis. I don't know, do I keep you like this? Or do I keep you like this? So which will be better? Okay, I'll keep you like this. All right. Okay, so let's just to confirm a few things and then we'll start. All right, so you're on to Mamu with Jarvis, and this is the Midnight Sun experience. And as is our practice, we'll be looking at questions. We'll be looking at the questions, success mystery, and we'll try to see how things will play out today. I trust you're hearing me very well. Trust you're hearing me. Let me do a last minute sound confirmation. Sincere apologies once again for starting a little late. It was due to some of all those little challenges will some of those challenges we had today, but thank God we are good to go and we can hit the road. So with our intro in place, let's get into the business of today. So today, what would we be looking at? Essentially today, we'll be looking at the NECO mathematics and the, what should we say now? NECO mathematics and the WAEC further mathematics. Today we'll be looking at the skeleton of these exams, and we'll go right or straight away to business. All right, so we will start off with the mathematics, and then we'll go straight ahead to look at the further mathematics. Now, just as we had said for other examinations, we had said that you can actually scale up or scale down some of these exams. You can scale them up, you can scale them down as the need may arise. So for the NECO mathematics, we expect 60 questions. We expect what? 60 questions. Now, it's important to understand how the NECO mathematics works today. In looking at this skeleton, I'll be using the 2023 NECO mathematics model to describe how this exam will work. So for NECO mathematics, the SSC, NECO mathematics SSC, you have 5 major areas captured, 5 major areas captured. We have arithmetic, we have algebra, we have geometry, we have pure maths and calculus. Then we have statistics and probability. I'll come again. You have arithmetic, you have algebra, you have geometry, you have pure maths and then calculus, and then you have statistics and what? Probability. So how is this structure? How are these questions broken down? For arithmetic, you have 15 questions. Now, please take note that my description here may be very subjective. Other teachers may do a little tweak because there are certain topics that we may have a bit of argument on. Topics like indices, topic like logarithm, there may be some bit of argument as to where should we place some of these topics. Do we place these topics as arithmetic, or do we place them as algebra? But for the purpose of my analysis, I have decided to class logarithm, and if I cite indices in this analysis, I decided to place it as what? Arithmetic. So we have arithmetic 15 questions. We have algebra 16 questions. We have geometry 15 questions. We have pure maths and calculus. We have 5 questions. We have statistics and probability. We have 9 questions. Essentially, the statistics and probability will cover 5 questions of statistics and 4 questions for probability. Please take note of this point. From year to year, the emphasis will shift. Maybe some years you may have more of arithmetic or more of a particular aspect of arithmetic, but within the confines of this exam, I can safely say that this is what the structure would look like. Whether it goes a little above or a little below, this is what the structure would likely look like. All right, so having said that, let's go into take the areas one after the other. Let's take arithmetic, for instance. Arithmetic. So what are the areas to be expected? Remember I said that this is the skeleton, and in future installments, we'll go deep to analyze this. But today we'll just take it as at the surface level. So what are the topics we expect in arithmetic? Before I go into that, a quick reminder here is that NECO has started making the exams easier in terms of progression. By this I mean, you discover that maybe the questions from a particular area will be well handled before you start to handle topics from other areas. So let's, for instance, arithmetic would have been well handled here before you now go into maybe algebra. They always put in groups, so it's very easy for students to look at the exam questions and easily answer them. All right, so what are the topics we're expecting under arithmetic? We'll be expecting things like proportion and ratio. We're expecting things like number-based system. We're expecting things like decimal numbers, approximations, estimations. We're expecting things like surds. We're expecting things like modular arithmetic. We're expecting things like logarithm. Remember I said I classed logarithm under this. We also have at least one question from compound interest. Sometimes they could say simple interest. We have sets. Set, you would have at least 2 to 3 questions. We have things like percentage error. You have one question from there. You have arithmetic, AP and GP, one question. You have things like area, perimeter. Oh, sorry about that. That will come under geometry. Sorry for the mix-up. That's coming under geometry. So those are some of the questions you could see from arithmetic. You are going to have one question from matrix. Now, sometimes we can class that as pure maths. Sometimes we can class that as what? Pure maths. So for the purpose of helping us understand better, I will leave that to be a pure maths topic. So those are some of the things we will see when we talk about what? Arithmetic. Now, when we come to algebra, what are the topics we are going to expect? One of the first topics you are going to see in algebra is graphs, linear, inequalities, graphs. You're going to have like three questions from graphs. You're going to have things like quadratic equation. You're going to have algebraic fractions, a host of others. If you pick the exam module here, it's not so far from what I've talked about. Quadratic, one simultaneous equation at least. You're going to have variation. You're going to have change of subject of formula. Those are some of the areas you're going to see under algebra. Then for geometry, when we come to break the topics properly, I will explain this better. For geometry, now, you know, when we're dealing with, earlier when we're dealing with, when I taught us, sorry about that. Okay, sorry about that. That's one of the reasons why we started very late. We had a little power issue, and sorry for the mix up we had, but we'll get back to work. Now, I was talking about geometry. Now, under geometry, you'll be expecting 15 questions. Now, as different from the NECO BECE, when we talk about geometry in, what do you call it, geometry in SSC NECO exams, we will look at geometry from number 1, trigonometry, number 2, formal geometry. Now, then you have what I call circle geometry. Although technically we can treat that under formal geometry, but I'm going to separate them and I'm going to call it plane geometry and circle geometry, or formal geometry and circle geometry. There's a reason I'm doing this, because when we begin to go into the concepts deeper, I'm going to be showing a little of these differences so that you are clear in what you're doing. You're going to have formal geometry, you're going to have circle geometry, you're going to have trigonometry, you're going to have locus and construction. Sometimes it may not even be one question from there, but just to give you an idea of what the questions will look like and what to expect. So that's for geometry. Then we have what is called pure math and statistics. Now, there's a topic I mentioned earlier. That topic is called matrix. In 2023 NECO, it came as question number 16. Matrix. Now, matrix is classed under pure maths and calculus. Now, what NECO does essentially is to bring in the element of additional maths or further maths to mathematics. There are certain topics now that are treated as what? Mathematics topics. So one of such topics will be what they call matrix. Another important one will be what is called differentiation. We'll have integration. So essentially differentiation and integration. And for any exam, these questions usually come in from question 58 to the end. Like if you see question 58 of 2023 NECO math, you discover that integration was question number 58. Differentiation was question number 59, and an application of the concept as question number 60. So that gives you an idea of the kind of questions you're going to face, and usually it's about 5 of them. Like I promised, I'm going to do a 5-year analysis where I'm going to take different question papers, take the questions from there, and then do an average so that you have a mental picture of what you're going to have. If you check this year very closely, you discover that strangely enough, WAEC did not set what is called indices. They didn't set indices at all. So maybe we may need to go to the theory to see what is that. And for teachers who are preparing students for this exam, I need you to go back and research and find out why that is. There was no question on indices. And please, you can check after this time out and confirm if my assertion is wrong or right. There was no indices. Now, that does not mean indices is not an important question in this exam. It's very important and it's rare. I'm surprised that I'm not seeing not even one question on that indices. Now, we come to the last one, which is called statistics and probability. Now, under statistics and probability, for 2023, we had 5 questions from statistics, and we had 4 questions for probability. If you look at the question paper, what you notice is that under statistics, we had things like mean. We're told to look for mean. We are told to look for, there were 2 questions under mean. There was one question on that pie chart in which we were told to look for something on that pie chart and then to apply that into proportion, looking for percentage of a particular one. So this gives you a summary of what the NECO SSC exam mathematics is all about. So in case you missed everything, I'll do a quick recap of this. Now the recap goes thus. In the NECO SSC exam for mathematics, you have 15 questions on the arithmetic. You have 16 questions on the algebra. We have 15 questions on that geometry. We have 5 questions on that pure maths and calculus. And you have 9 questions on that statistics and probability, which goes to show that there are 5 areas being tested under NECO mathematics for SSCE. I'm giving you a total of 60 questions. Take note that for WAEC, you usually would have 50 questions for the NECO. For WAEC, you have 50 questions for the objective. Now, having talked about maths, let's quickly look at what to expect in a further math exam. When we present the remastered copy, we're going to ensure that we have these things divided so that you have for maths and then you have for further maths. So, once again, we'll be looking at WAEC further mathematics. WAEC further mathematics. And to keep things real and alive, one of the essential things you must take note of or a takeaway from the WAEC exam is that for WAEC, you have 40 questions for further maths. But in NECO, you have 50 questions. So WAEC is 40 questions, and then NECO is what? 50 questions. So for the 60 questions, like I said, this arrangement could vary. They could vary it, and from year to year, emphasis could be shifted. From year to year, emphasis could be shifted. Now, this is not an exact module, but I have worked with a mental summary of what it will look like. Now, maybe when I come in to do NECO, when I come in to do further mathematics theory, I'm going to explain some things better there. But let's stick to the OBJ. There are 3 major areas identified in any further math exam. Whether you're doing NECO or you're doing WAEC, there are 3 fundamental areas recognized in further mathematics. Number 1, it is pure mathematics. There's something we call pure mathematics. Number 2, when I was talking about mathematics the other time, I talked about pure mathematics and calculus. In fact, the calculus is embedded in pure mathematics. So if I say pure mathematics, I'm not out of place because the calculus is embedded in the pure mathematics. So we have pure mathematics, we have vectors and mechanics, then we have statistics and probability. The largest area, maybe I'll go again, I have pure mathematics, I have vectors and mechanics, I have statistics and probability. The largest area of this exam is pure mathematics. So what does that tell you? In an OBJ environment, if your pure mathematics is weak, you may have a problem. In a pure mathematics environment, if your in a further math environment, if your pure mathematics is weak, you're going to have serious problem. So it's not something you want to joke with. You do not want to joke with your pure mathematics. And from the analysis I have here, trusting that I've done the correct arrangement, and pardon my classification, it's possible that maybe I'd counted, I'd done some little alterations in the combination. But usually we'll have pure mathematics about 28 questions, 7 questions from vectors and mechanics, and then you have 5 questions from statistics and probability. I'll come again, 28 questions from pure maths, 7 questions from vectors and mechanics, and you have 5 questions from statistics and probability. Now that's usually the structure of the exam. It could vary. There could be a little shift, maybe by 1 or 2 or thereabouts. But when I do the 5-year analysis, I'm going to give you a range of the questions to expect and how to prepare for them and what usually will be the structure and the state of play in this exam. So for WAEC, what you have is 28 pure maths questions, 7 vector and mechanics questions, and then 5 questions under probability and statistics. Now, so what are the topics we would likely see we'll call as pure mathematics here? Number 1, we have what is called swords. In future videos, I'm going to give you real breakdown in the analysis and to show you how many questions from each one so that you as a teacher or a student, you know the questions you should worry yourself about. For instance, if I'm doing mathematics, you know you're going to have questions from quadratic. You have what is called polynomials, you have integration and differentiation, you have logical reasoning, you have permutation and combination, you have partial fraction, you have symmetric properties of roots, you have functions, you have what is called APGP, exponential functions, you have coordinate geometry. This one is called coordinate geometry, where you be hearing things like tangent to a curve, normal to curves, and things like that. You have differentiation, whether implicit or as the case may be. You have sets. That comes under pure mathematics. You have linear transformation. You have things like matrix. You have things like a matrix. Matrix actually comes under pure maths. You have things like trigonometry, trigonometric identities, it is called. You have things like logarithm. You have logarithm there. And a few of them like that. You have equation of the normal to the curve. I've talked about that differentiation. Then you have what is called binary operation. Something we call binary operation. I think those are about the key topics you're going to see under your pure maths. It's usually very, very important you know your pure maths. Very, very important. Then under vectors and mechanics, usually would have 7 questions, maybe 5 to 7 questions. And the areas looked at here under you have vectors. If you're using your textbooks, you see they call vector 1, vector 2. It's a very comprehensive topic, and I really would want you to learn that. Now, by the time we come to theory, you discover that in the theory, only one question usually comes out from vector. So it's usually shared 1 question from vectors, 1 question rather from mechanics. Now, we come to the last one, which is called statistics and probability. Under that, you're going to see mean, mode, median, but usually there's something they set here, and like in this year, they said mean, and then they asked you to find a constant, k. Then you have what is called the probability. Now, under probability, you also need to be mindful that there's a topic in pure maths called permutation and combination. You need to have a strong idea or knowledge of your combination to be able to solve probability. You get it? So it's a very, very broad area of statistics. So that takes care of that. So that's usually the structure of a WAEC further maths exam. So like I said, today's class was just to give you a skeleton of what to expect in an exam setup and how you prepare. Remember, I've said the midnight, we've commenced a project called the Midnight Sun, and it has come to stay. It has come to stay. We've said that our objective is to ensure that students don't do malpractice. We're saying no to examination malpractice. And then by way of doing some tweaking, we got a very touch name, success. You will notice that you'll be seeing more of success mysteries now, success mystery rather. And we're trying to teach students something that you can actually prepare for any exam. Write it well without having to resort to online malpractice. Something we're going to be doing too in this installment is that we're going to stretch the borders beyond just maths and further maths. And I assure you, we're going to be bringing in physics and chemistry. Not to teach physics and chemistry. There's a pattern we want to use in physics and chemistry. What's it going to look like? We're going to take you through physics and chemistry by showing you how to use your textbook. That's what we're going to do in physics. We'll leave the nitty-gritty or the details for the physics and chemistry teachers to handle, but we're going to take you through how you're going to handle this. So I want to make a solemn appeal. As many of us who are preparing for this year's WAEC, NECO, BESE, IGCSE, please key into our mentorship program, our self-help program. We have a WhatsApp platform, and WhatsApp platform where we're doing this. And something we just started recently too, we also started providing platform for different teachers, community of practice, where teachers within a confines can come and share intelligence. There's a maths platform created for teachers. So if you're a teacher of mathematics, you want to join this platform, I'm making it as a responsibility to solve questions and drop it there, not to see how well I've solved. So you can also correct me. Hey, I always tell my students that if you're teaching a class and your students cannot correct you or can't spot errors, there's something wrong in that class, so you should run away, because it means that if you're the only person who can say the right thing, it means that that class might become a problem. So we're coming up with a lot of exciting projects for us in this new academic year, and we want us all to key into it. I will not forget to say a very big thank you to all of us who have spent time to watch this video. Some of us, maybe because of the nature of our schedule, have already concluded version. No problem. We want you to share this thing out. We want to help people do very well in a very honest manner. I also want to say a very big thank you to my wife, my sweethearts, and my lovely children, Yuchana, Chazon, and Cheporobari. You know, sometimes I have to leave them to be able to produce this work, and they've been very, very supportive. I'll also not end this if I do not. I'll be failing if I do not say a big thank you to my school, Archdeacon Brown Education Center, Boarding, for the support I have received all through the years and the training experience it has afforded me. Madam Ed, thank you very much. My MD, Madam, I greet you specially. And to our chairman, I greet you specially. Sorry, I may have mixed the order, but just understand that I'm saying Twali. I really respect what you're bringing on board here. And you can join us. The session has just started, and we are on a journey. We're on a mission to grow children who will do very, very well. You will hear our story. Don't worry. This session, you will hear our story. Thank you to Mrs. Ada, my VP admin. Thank you to my principal, Mr. Hygienus. Thank you to Mr. Kirian. Thank you, day school principal. Thank you to Mr. Udofia. Mr. Udofia just started his YouTube channel. I was wowed by it today. Awesome concept. I'll be dropping that link sometime later, and I want you to patronize him. He's a guru at physics. I really, for those of you who are preparing for WAEC and NECO this year, you really need to subscribe to that man's channel. Wow, awesome teachings. You cannot miss it. Awesome. Wow. If you leave me, I'll talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. All the same, thank you for counting it worthy to listen to my humble video tonight. You have the remastered copy, and next week, Saturday, we're going to be having what I'm going to post will be pre-recorded classes. So, because I'm going to do a thorough analysis on the WAEC, NECO, and BESE exam. So, I'm going to be posting them in parts. Please follow the parts. And if for any reason you want to reach out to me, you can reach out to me on WhatsApp. You can reach out to me through social media network available. You can also write me a mail. I'm going to drop all of these after this timeout. From now, as is my practice, I'm going to end with a song, a very nice song. So let's see how that goes. So thank you for your time. Thank you for your time. I love you so much. Take care. Remember, say no to online malpractice. I'll see you soon.